Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. How's everyone doing today? We've had some technical stuff, but we're happy to be here. We may actually have a special guest. Jen had a bit of a technical issue, so welcome, Jen.
So, yeah, it's 5 o'clock. We're like, I'm waiting. We're good to go. My power goes out. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
So we've had some technical issues. She did make it. And we have someone else joining us as well, I think.
Hopefully. We'll see how that goes. Well, and on top of it, right? Dawn's going to bring me a power charger thing so that my phone can die. Hi, Ramzi.
Thank you for pinching.
No problem.
Welcome to the show.
It's just
you.
been
Wasn't planning on, but good to have me.
It's always great to have you on the show. So let's do our usual introductions because we had a bit of a hi. Here we are. We're late. Sorry. So let's go through and tell people who we are and what we're here for. So I'm Tanis from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. I am a Reiki Master, Celtic Shamanic High Priestess, Galactic Ambassador, and a channel. And my co-host is Jennifer Jurkofsky. Do you want to tell people what you do, Jen?
Yeah, I'm a registered psychotherapist, a certified Canadian counselor, intuitive life coach. I do the energy stuff too, and I just don't do power, so I need to plug into a power theme.
And Jen is having some power issues at the moment, which is why we have an impromptu special guest, Ramzi Cheeti. Would you like to
yes, can you
tell us about you? Yes.
Yeah, so thank God, I'm having even technical difficulties. I really jumped in without there wasn't on or anything, traveling all over the place.
And we have an echo for you, honey. So maybe we need some earphones. While you do that, I'm just going to put myself over here and I'm going to tell everybody why we're having some technical issues. So the reason for technical issues at the moment is that we have this huge influx of energy that just happened. So we just had a huge spike in the Schumann resonance scale. I'm actually going to attempt to show you because I think I can. There we are. So you'll see here, you see the big section of white. This was a big spike. So this was just a little bit ago on the Schumann resonance scale. So you can see that when we have that big influx, and you see there's not much going on after that, we have some interruptions in terms of electricity, in terms of radio signals, and those kind of things that happen. So this is why we're having a few technical difficulties today, because we've had this huge spike. So, so we thank you for your patience for today. And let's get back to this. I think I prefer this. What do you think, guys? Yeah. You don't like that part?
Well, I don't care.
So, okay. So, Ramzi Cheeti.
I've been playing with this for a while. I hope it's working.
It sounds okay now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm Ramzi Cheeti. I'm a psychic medium. I do energy healing, all kinds. I'm an intuitive healer, and you can find me on ramzicheeti.net. And thank you for having me on the show. It's like going crazy to get on.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us last minute. We really appreciate that. It was like, I'm supposed to come on and talk, and I didn't have any co-host. And I was like, it's hard to talk to myself. I can, but it's hard to talk to myself. They have a name for that. So how is everyone doing out there?
Good, I think, from my end. Like I told you, you know my thing. I've been traveling, so none of these stuff affected me. I've been in the air 3 times this week, so
Oh my goodness. Are you back home now?
I'm home now, yes.
Oh,
I'm grounded
lovely.
for 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, good. So we've got the pleasure of your company in Canada. Awesome. Awesome.
Very cool.
And Jen, what's happening with our human design? Because we've got this energy. So the other thing that's happening with the Schumann resonance, we've actually had a CME, a coronal mass ejection that hit the atmosphere yesterday. It left the sun 2 days ago. It actually hit faster or sooner than they actually anticipated, some of the experts. So that means it's at a bit of a higher velocity that it came in and hit the atmosphere. So that's part of what creates some of these big jumps in the Schumann resonance scale that we're seeing right now. So in terms of what that does for people, it gives us like anxiety, right? You can have like a little fluttery feeling. Sometimes we can feel more emotional, depressed. So when we have a big influx of light, which is basically what this is, raises the vibration and all of our stuff comes up. So we tend to get we can get a little bit frustrated easily and combative and stuff. And we're in Mercury retrograde. So welcome to Mercury retrograde as well. And you know, we're in the eclipse season. We had a new moon on Friday and all of that stuff too. So, you know, we've got a lot going on. So Jen, what's going on in the human design world? Because I know that's coming up for stuff too, right?
Well, yeah. So we just entered on the dates are going to, I'm not sure because I can't access the information, but if I remember correctly, I think it was the 24th to the 27th, give or take. We entered into gate 27, the gate of nourishment, the gate of care. And it's really interesting. You know, we talk about this energy to be able to nourish and what that looks like, right? And so when we think about bring in the gene keys, right? Like, what does the movement look like in this process? And it's really this idea of going from this kind of selfishness to altruism to selflessness. And it was interesting because as I was contemplating this one for today to talk about, one of the things that came up for me was the idea of boundaries and care, not just caring for others, right? And so we have this kind of ebb and flow that we need to be able to bring in. And it's interesting because when we think about like selfishness and selflessness, one of the things that we often think about is this idea of, you know, if we're selfish, if we honor our boundaries or we express what our needs are, right? Or we're selfless if we're willing to kind of step aside and help somebody else. And recognizing kind of the backwards logic that the mind makes around all of that. And just kind of understanding that, you know, sometimes a very selfless act is saying no, even if we want to jump in and help or do something. Being able to honor somebody's process or being able to allow space for that. It can be very loving to set boundaries, and it can be very caring to do that, right? So recognizing that, you know, again, it's this idea of being able to nourish and to nourish with our values. And so sometimes that selflessness is being able to share that value and what is important to us with our community, right? This is a very tribal energy, so it's very family, very team, very like core group kind of oriented, right? And the idea behind it is, how do I take care of this group? And in doing so, we have to recognize we also have to take care of ourselves, right? So it's really this time is about finding that balance. How do we allow ourselves to stay mindful and stay caring, both to ourselves and to those around us?
And we talked about this a little bit last week about holding space and the concept of support, not save, right? In terms of that. So I think that's it's certainly a key idea. You look like you've been receiving stuff there, Ramzi. Have you been receiving stuff or thinking?
No, I'm listening to to Jennifer, and all I can see is that when the oxygen in the cabin goes down, the mask comes down, and the first thing you have to do is take care of yourself before you take care of the others. So, which is exactly what you were saying.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
I'm looking at it from an aircraft point of view,
But it's very accurate, right? Like it's your frame of reference for the moment with all the traveling you're doing, but really accurate. That is a great example, right?
yeah.
Of what we're doing. So it's great to keep that in mind. I just want to say hello to Shem. We have a few people that have joined us now. So hello, Shem. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And anyone else that's on, please let us know you're here. Say hi. We like to have conversation. And usually what we do is we'll pick a card and we shall chat about the topic. Do we want to do that today?
Let's go ahead with it.
Yeah, you're good with that, Jen? You're moving around. You, what's going on, girl? Okay. So she has a loss of sound. She's going to be right back. So, so she's frozen at the moment because she's exiting. So in the meantime, we'll pick a card and we'll see what's going on. There she goes. Hi.
Hi.
I'm so glad you came on. All right, so let's see what the guides want us to talk about tonight. We had some great news on the weekend. We have a couple of guests lined up for coming up for the Twillow talk, which is awesome. Aha! We are going to talk about relationships. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Ooh, and we've got the seed of life there, right? Or not the seed, sorry. The oh my goodness, flower of life. I'm like, wait, what is it? Yeah, flower of life. The seed of life is similar, but it's a slightly less ornate picture.
It's funny this one comes up because what was it yesterday? Saturday. Sorry, I'm lost with the days.
No worries.
I was having a coffee with my cousin, and we were talking about relationships. And she's having difficulties with a lot of things. And one of the things that we came about is that relationship comes from okay, sorry.
Shem's put a comment. It's you know, we're like squirrels. We get attracted to the moving things. I'm attracted to people who want my higher good. Absolutely. Yeah. We're also attracted to comments that come up on the side. So
what happens is we are attracted to the people that resonate at the same frequency as we do.
Yes.
And there's a saying, birds of feather flock together.
Mm-hmm.
And that frequency, if it doesn't align, it doesn't mean that we're not attracting the right people. It means those people are not for our higher good at this point in time. Mm-hmm. Our frequency changes as we evolve, we change, we read a book, we meet new people, we expand our consciousness, our frequency changes. And voila. She's on. She resonated with us and she joined us back.
Go ahead and then we'll catch her up after. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah. So once we're at the right frequency, we merge together and become friends or colleagues or whatever it is. And as time passes, if we don't change together, then we start falling apart. And that's okay because people come at a certain point in our lifetime to help us or do something.
Your sound's doing something funny, honey.
My sound?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
just sit close to the mic.
I am close to the mic. So yeah, it's all about frequency, and we come in at the right time for each other so that we can trigger something to help us evolve through our journey on this planet.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's, those times when we run into somebody and it can just be like a passing moment,
Yeah.
and you get triggered. Something gets triggered for you. Not a bad trigger necessarily, but it's often like a quick awakening sort of experience that we have. So relationships can be either really long and intense and lifetimes in length, or they can be like short little moments like that.
And they flick a switch.
Yep. So it's pretty cool. Our topic, Jen, and for those that are just joining us, is relationship.
What a great topic for the transit this week, eh?
It is. It is. Can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
So thoughts about relationships, Jen, now that we're putting you on the spot. Have you landed yet?
Well, I don't know. The lights keep going. Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting because, again, reflecting on what we were talking about with the transits and the idea of caring and that ability to care for yourself and to care for others and finding that balance. And so I think about relationships in that light as well, right? We need to nurture our relationships with others, but we really need to nurture our relationship with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And making space and time to be able to do that. And as we develop the relationship with ourselves, seeing how that evolves the relationships around us, right? I don't know. I would almost prefer that it was a message and not the fact that my power is going to go out again.
What's the message for Jen from Flickering Light? Ramzi, can you shed some light on what the message might be for Jen with their flickering light?
Sometimes a flicker light is just a flicker.
Just a flickering light. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because like Richard Rudd, who does the Gene Keys, his quote around the 27th gate, he talks about how it brings us many insights, right? And that he calls it a profound and magical gene key in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Talks about how the most important gift that it brings us is this unselfish attitude, but how it comes from knowing the connectedness of all things, right? So it's not even anymore about the duality. It's not about you and me. It's about this, which is us, right? And what does that look like? And so as we kind of unfold all of this, it's, he talks about it being the carer, but he also talks about it in light of this idea, there it goes, of planetary healer, right? It's just confirmations. That's
There
what's
we are. It's
happening.
confirmation. She's a smart cookie, so they're just confirming everything. And she's pretty
So again, right? Like when we talk about relationship, what's coming up for me, especially in light of the transit that we're in right now, is this idea of, heal thyself, heal the environment, heal the planet, right? Like we have, again, holding space, going back to that, right? As we bring this in and heal the relationship with ourselves, we then bring it out and heal with those around us, right? And what we impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And Shem says, where are we here? Relationship with spirit.
Mm.
That's another whole topic,
Yeah.
I think, there's many of us that have our own relationship with spirit. And I think that's, we develop that over time, whether it's with our guides, whether it's with God or source or, whatever that is for you. I think that we develop that relationship. And so let's talk about how we develop relationships. How do we develop relationships in a world like today?
Yeah. Well, and it's, again, just what comes to me with this whole idea of relationship with spirit is even still this going back to connectedness of all life, right? Like as we connect with us, we connect with our higher self, we connect with all of it. And so what does that look like, right? And that's going to be different for each of us. I love to read, I love to write, I love to meditate. I love to just feel into things. So, when I talk about building that relationship, it's, can I truly be open and honest and raw with what's going on for me in this moment And can I show up honoring that?
From a 3D type of relationship connection is finding a common theme between people. So we go out and have dinner with friends. It's a common theme that connects us, and we start to build on that, on the human need to connect with others. So we build on that trust slowly with the common interests. Now, as the interest grows, the connection becomes stronger. Bloody hell.
He sees me do this and he's like, oh.
So as the common interest grows, the bond between people becomes stronger. And then it reaches a certain point where the interest is of no interest. It's just the beingness between the people. And that brings us to the point that you made, Jen, earlier, is that it's the connection of all. I hope you're hearing me.
This idea of connection with people, Ramzi, we really want to connect.
We're trying. We're really trying to build the trust.
My computer is not allowing me to connect today.
Mercury retrograde, high human resonance. It's all good. Patience, please, for all.
Oh my goodness.
And we want to say hello to Tarot Your Way, Thomas. Hello. Thank you for joining us. If you're just joining us, we are having some
technical difficulties
and feedback from
No,
Ramzi.
again, so it's my computer.
So with the Schumann resonance, yes, thank you. With the Schumann resonance and all of the other stuff, now it's me doing it. Is it?
No, I think it was Ramzi. We were hearing Tanis twice through Tanis.
Ramzi's computer. Yes. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right.
If y'all want a message out today, you got to clear it up. Otherwise,
Exactly.
this is how it's gonna be.
These things come like this because they're meant for us to greet them with joy, right? We have to laugh through this stuff. There's no reason to get, our knickers in a knot about it. It's all, It is what it is, folks. And this is us. And Twillow Talk is all about authenticity and authentic conversation. So welcome. This is us authentically. This is not our usual kind of show, but this is us authentically. So we're certainly glad to have you all here. And we're talking about relationships. So.
What was coming to mind too as Ramzi was about connection and all, and finding people that we resonate with and things. We talk about like the crystalline grid and all of that, and in human design, they talk about fractals, right? And finding people that are on our fractal, because they're the people who we're meant to connect with and have those different experiences with, whether it is just a chance meeting or a lifelong friendship or whatever it is. But recognizing too that we often try to force connection where it's not meant to be there, and it's okay for it to not be there as well. Right? And so allowing space again for that kind of for just being open to what is meant for us and being able to let go of what is not.
And isn't that difficult sometimes? Right? There's the word loyalty comes to mind with that. People feel a loyalty to somebody, and it may be that person's not necessarily right for them. Right? But they feel a loyalty to them for whatever reason. Maybe they've been family friends for years, and so they feel like this, and it almost becomes like an obligation, kind of like, there's people that you think of that, you grow up and they're like the aunt and uncle. You know, they're not necessarily the aunt and uncle, but they're like those family friends that are like
Yeah.
instilled as family, right? And they're not necessarily people that you resonate with, but you feel obligated to interact.
Well,
Right?
even blood family, we don't all resonate with.
Yes. Yes, that
Let's
can
be
happen as
real.
well. That
Right?
can happen as well. Yeah, I see that with my clients a lot. So, yes, for sure. Mm-hmm.
There's also the attachment. We don't want things to change.
Yes.
And we try to force, but it becomes so painful to a point where when you let go, you realize what you've done. But by that time, you would have hurt yourself in the process. So it's very important to identify why we're attached.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, attachment styles. Jen, you and I have talked about that a few times on the show. And styles, and like, you know, that brings to mind that, you know, the codependent type behaviors and personalities and that sort of thing, right? And often it's created by trauma, right? Or there's the trauma bonding that can happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what comes to mind for me is just, you know, the idea of how do I feel loved? How do I feel valued? How do I feel that connection? And so often, because of the world that we are brought into and the way that we are taught as we grow up, we move away from the fact that we just are valued. We just are to be loved. We just are because we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we move into, well, I have to earn it. I have to do something in order to be loved. I have to be a certain way in order to show my value. I have to prove that I'm worthy of this, right? And in doing so, we bring in all kinds of issues that, you know, are traumas, right? And we have issues with attachment, and we have issues with how we navigate relationships, and we're always looking for something outside of us to confirm that we're worthy of these basic attributes that are just part of who we are because we exist.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's a really hard thing when we get into those narratives of having to prove that
we're worthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a bit about codependency. She's wanting us to talk a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes we don't know. I think, you know, as humans, we don't know that we're in those kinds of relationships or we're in that kind of behavior pattern. We don't see it necessarily in ourselves because it just is.
What is going on?
Gives you
sorry guys, there's a speaker coming up somewhere on my computer and I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry.
I'm like,
I don't know what's happening.
There's no fourth guest on here. Where is this coming from?
Random window just starts talking. Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Okay.
Sorry.
Oh dear. So what's your experience with that in terms of the codependency thing, Ramzi, and what you've seen with your clients?
Well, again, it all boils down to love me.
Yeah.
Love me, see me, hear me, love me. That's the only thing. And it all stems from the point where we don't actually know who we are or love ourselves. And the point of getting to where we wanted to be is, oh my God, yes, is finding our true self. And our true self is pure love. And to get to that point, we can do it through multiple ways, but one of the good ways is to meditate, to find the essence of who you are. And last night I went to sleep and I said, okay, please give me a message so that I bloody figure out where I need to go from here. Just put something out. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with the vision of somebody pointing a finger towards the big word, meditate.
Meditate.
It's all interesting because I'm too lazy to meditate. I'm like a squirrel. Like a few little things will get my mind everywhere. So once we start to meditate, we tend to feel our essence. And once we sit with our essence, we realize it's bigger than what we actually think it is. And that's where you start to realize that you can't love someone. You are pure love. And you don't need to do anything to yourself. You're just perfect the way you are. And once you realize all of these, you come to a conclusion is that this is me. You walk in with like a huge energy field in any situation and you will win it no matter what. You know, and those personas that Carl Jung talks about are almost the same. If you wear that armor that I am love, even if you don't feel it, but with time, it becomes you.
Fake it till you make it.
Well, don't fake it, but you impersonate it.
Embrace it.
Embrace. There's a good word.
Know it.
There we go. Shem says, so deep. Absolutely.
One of the things, I notice with codependency really is this kind of wanting to be wanted, right? That kind of longing that happens and that needing to be, that old song is from like 10 Things I Hate About You is what comes to mind. I want you to want me.
Yes.
And I'm not going to sing.
But
anyway.
Anymore. He's already
Anymore. But again, it's this idea of, we want so desperately to be wanted. We want to be needed. And so this codependency is very much a, I feel valued because you need me. Right? And so I want to be indispensable to you. And I see, Louise Hayes talks about loving and approving self.
Yeah. So many that Louise Hayes great, but there's lots of other teachers as well that are talking about that. It's such a big part of that spiritual journey, right?
Well, and it's interesting too, like in Human Design, the Gate 19, so in Gene Key 19, the shadow part of that is codependence, right? And then we move from codependence, once we can kind of embrace what that is for us, we move into sensitivity, and that's the gift, right, of being able to really be sensitive to our needs and to the needs of those around us, right? And then from there we can move into the Siddhi, which is the embodiment of what true sacrifice is and what that looks like, right? And not doing that out of a need to be needed, but doing that out of a true embracing of this is how I'm feeling connected in this moment. Right, and I'm allowing that connection to move me, but it's the need that isn't there in that, right?
Yeah, and certain behaviors, if you just examine yourself, because we all tend to not to examine ourselves. If you're a giver, it says something about you. You can't receive. You want to be needed. That's how you try to approach other people to love you instead of buying your love. But that's what it is, buying your love. If you have a proper balance between giving and receiving, it means you understand who you are. And there's a time where you can give, and there's a time where you should receive. And you receive it gracefully, and being open for it. Because sometimes we receive it as like, oh my God, I don't deserve it. No, you deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve it. We're all deserving.
Yeah.
We all have that divine spark, right? We are all one and we are all connected. And we all deserve it, no matter who we are.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's an important point.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to what Ramzi was saying earlier, right? Is this idea of detachment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I talk to clients often about how can we love with detachment, right? How can we, this is really embracing that idea of sacrifice where I'm going to allow myself to be open in this experience, and I'm going to allow for this kind of fluid energy movement through me, so that I can give of that, but then I'm not attached to what you do with it. I'm not attached to how you take it. I'm not attached to where it goes from there, right? So can I allow for that space in my experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a hello to Kindness and Light. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
And we have, what does imposter syndrome, how does that serve us, the imposter syndrome?
Does it serve us?
I don't know.
I have not heard this.
Imposter syndrome?
Yeah, let me just see what it actually.
So imposter syndrome, because I work with this with clients often, with other therapists, with people in the spiritual world, all kinds of different people have this, where we feel like
Lisa.
we aren't enough,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're not good enough. We don't know enough. We're not, it's really, it comes down to I'm not enough.
Yeah.
In whatever that looks like. And that I'm, again, going back to that, I'm just acting as if, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just pretending or playing a role. And I don't know that it serves us in the sense that why do we think that we have to be anything other than what we are to be enough?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so even this component of act as if, I don't, and Ramzi, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but yeah, fake it until you make it, all of that kind of stuff. I don't, again, right, we were talking about how it's really embrace it until you believe it, right?
Right.
This is
I like
part
that.
of who I am. This is not something outside of me that I have to find, because I'm never going to find it if I think it's out there,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm going to embrace this quality within me. And I may doubt and I may question. I'm human. Of course that's going to happen. But that
Yeah.
doesn't negate the fact that I am all in being, because I am, right? And so
Yeah.
we embrace the quality that we want to bring forward, not because it's not really ours and we're faking it, but because we just haven't allowed it to be realized in our experience yet.
Yeah. And the doubt is one of the killers, and it is the key to this, to the doubting of everything. We lose ourselves. We put ourselves down so that we could still be connected to others and appreciated by others. Because if I'm going to come and say, well, I know it more than you do, Jen, I might feel that you might not accept me. So I will doubt myself and I'll put all my theories and everything that I know way below par so that I'm still part of this group, so that I'm still accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to realize that we are who we are, and Jen knows more about the human design than anybody I know, but it doesn't mean that I'm not good enough in her presence or she feels superior to me. On the contrary, we all feel, because we know who we are, we all feel equal. That's the
Yeah.
key. We know who we truly are, so we feel equal.
And it's absolutely everyone has their unique gifts, their unique blend of special, right? And so when we start to embrace our own unique blend of special and know that that's within us, that's when, we're not worrying about what everybody else is doing. We're not judging people as better than or less than. It's just about looking for each other's gifts and really honoring the gifts in each other. And I think that's something that, I think the three of us do that really well, actually. But
And there's a comment on here from Kindness and Light,
Mhm.
right? And I think that it really it emphasizes that idea, right? Because we think that we have to be a certain way in order to be accepted and in order to fit in and all of that. And I think this goes back even to what we were talking about before about relationships, in that we try to force connection where that connection doesn't serve us, right?
Mhm.
And if we're able to be authentically who we are in any given moment, then the connections that we make are going to be more authentic. They're going to be more clear, right? In the Gene Keys, Richard talks about, and I go back to it because I love it, right? Like human design is the blueprint, but I figure the Gene Keys is like that whole like building and transformation part of the process, right? And he talks about, we each have our own unique genius.
Yeah.
Right? And we're here to express that genius to the world. And so what does that look like for us? Well, if we're constantly hiding that in order to fit in or in order to be perceived a certain way, we're not bringing our genius to the world, right? And so being able to embrace something that we know is a part of us until we truly can believe and honor it on a more regular basis. Don't get me wrong. Like we all ebb and flow. That's the nature of being human.
Yeah. Just like Lisa, I still have fear and doubt on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm older now. No, I shouldn't care so much of having to be liked, right?
Yeah.
But we all do from
Mm-hmm.
time to time. We all have that. That is, like you said, Jen, it's part of being human, right?
Yeah.
So Tom says, I'm special. Lisa's agreeing. We agree. We're all special. And thank you, Ming. Welcome. Thank you for that. Embrace it comment. Mm-hmm.
Cham mentions, but a child doesn't know that, and maybe they are judged. True. At an early stage, we might feel judged by our parents or siblings or whoever is across, and we put that genius that she's talking about on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But at a certain point in time, we have to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. Otherwise, we'll be miserable for the rest of our lives. And that I truly believe in, even if it's not mentioned by Jung or anybody else. But I feel if we don't get our genius out, we're bloody miserable.
Yeah.
And
that's the healing journey, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the healing journey for all of us.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, right? Because you talk about a child doesn't know this, and yet they might feel this way. Remember, like every single one of the gates, all of the gene keys, they all have all three of the components. So we all have the shadow side, the gift side, and then the city side or the enlightened side, right? And so we all have work to do. Nobody came in here without work to do.
Yep.
Right. And so even as a child, we're going to be faced with these shadow parts that we have to, look at, explore, understand, and embrace as part of this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens in trauma. Like Lisa's saying, I think people who've been through trauma, they have that instilled in them for sure. And, Tom, we get you. We're always more critical of ourselves, I think, in many cases than we are of others. So I think, that's part of being human. We're here to learn, right? We're here to experience the whole gamut of emotions. And we're going to be learning till the day we leave here. So, yeah, Lisa says she has the same fear. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and it's, you know, in developmental needs meeting strategy, which is I'm getting into my day
She's going
job.
into her geek mode.
Right? They talk about what they call maladaptive interjects. So what this is in, basic terminology is our child self acts out, and a parent or a guardian or a teacher, somebody does something to get us back in line. Right? And that thing that they do is not necessarily nice. So then this next stage child part of us goes, oh, and it picks up the mask of that person and it wears it.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to then mimic those things that we've been told. And it starts to then berate us and holds on to those narratives that aren't ours, right? They came from somewhere else, but it's what got us in line. It's what got us accepted. It's what got us to feel like we fit in. And so now we hold on to them and we berate ourselves for them. And at some point we have to go, not mine.
Right.
Right?
Self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
What is yours? And that we talk about that being that self-integrity, as opposed to just like what we have traditionally thought of as integrity being, that, honest and truthful and loving and all of that being in your integrity. But, the self-integrity is living your true self.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've worked a lot with Ramzi in your work, being the true self. It's his tagline, just saying. Or something similar.
It is.
So Ming says, I meditate almost never. I don't know how my essence feels. I cut off a lock of my hair and held it like a crystal so that I can feel more of my essence through my hair. My energy filled through my field, releasing any energy that was not mine. We can't see the rest of that, so I'll read it. And left was my love, peace, compassion. I found it was a way for me to feel I am enough. Beautiful. Yeah.
Nice word it.
Mm-hmm. Years of abuse with siblings, over 50 years.
Yeah.
Crashed. Now I have fear of not pleasing others. Yeah. She's saying that so Lisa's a reader. And so when she does card readings, she's fearful. And Tom says, yeah, that's where the disclaimer comes in. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
What a great way you guys are supporting each other. I love to see that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. We're all here to support each other. We're on this little round rock and we're here to support each other. That's what relationships are all about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, most definitely. And, we learn a lot from relationships, and we learn more from the really difficult ones sometimes.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think that, this idea of years and years of abuse, we begin to think that that's all we are and that that's all we're here for. And that's not the reality, right? And so how do we work through that, and how do we allow ourselves to be something other than what everybody else has tried to make us be, right? And how can we, look at this idea of, pleasing others or being fearful that we're not pleasing them, and recognize, okay, is this actually still serving me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? This need to constantly please, what is it really doing for me? Right? And as we break it down, we begin to recognize how much we're not honoring ourselves.
Yeah. How much compromise we do for others, or how much we overgive because we want to. And, empaths are famous for this, right?
Yeah.
Because we feel everybody's discontent when they're not happy with us. So we tend to want to people please and people please and people please, because then everybody's happy and then we don't have to feel they're unhappy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Not.
No.
It catches up with you guys. It catches up with you.
Yeah. Well, and this comment here. Well, first I want to start with Shem really quick, just because
Yes, I
you
love
put up
this.
or not, but I love it.
Yes, we're walking each other home. Absolutely.
We truly are home to self, home to connection, home to source.
Yeah.
Home to, all of it.
Yes,
It's a beautiful
absolutely.
thing,
Thank you,
Shem.
Shem.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we have this from Lisa.
Yeah. Right. And this idea that, being completely opposite. I have no idea about your family, about your background, but what keeps coming to me is the idea of narcissistic families and the dynamic there, and how the one who is different, the one who has an opinion that is unique to themselves, becomes the scapegoat,
Yeah.
right? The one that everybody dumps on and all of that. And so I don't know what your dynamic is, but that's what keeps coming to me, is the image of that kind of family dynamic.
Mhm.
And as hard as it is, being able to actually step away from that is really, really important in order to be able to ground and be able to really recognize that the narrative that I fall into is not who I actually am.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tom says, my tarot journey is out of mental health and empathy. I was that kind overly sensitive person. Yeah, all of us are as well. That's where we all start with. And I hear you, Lisa. I'm a physical empath too. Till we learn how to manage our energy, we fall into that, right? We tend to do that. Oh, she was the youngest of 7.
Ooh.
Oh, no wonder. Oh, baby,
Yeah.
we're sending you were the baby of the family. We're sending you tons of love, Lisa.
Well, and here you are, youngest of 7 and a physical.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big family to be feeling all of the time.
Yeah. A lot of dynamic there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And isn't that true, though, that we often get into this kind of work to help people in situations that we've been through, right?
Mm-hmm.
We tend to end up with clients that we've gone through what they're going through. That wounded healer business, right?
Yeah, as I was just thinking, Ewan. Yeah.
The wounded healer.
Yeah.
That's good by the sounds of it, Lisa. She got away from them 8 years ago. Yeah, it's tough though, right? To make those kinds of huge changes, especially when it's blood family. But there's the chosen families that can be so beautiful. We all have like our physical families and we have our chosen families. That's the tribe. That's the community that we get attracted to. Like we were talking about earlier with the like vibration attracts like vibration.
Yeah.
And our tribe is usually our like vibration people. Blood family, not so much.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, since we're all one, it doesn't matter who you choose, it's still your family.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this goes back to kind of what we were talking about last week with the holding space, right? And what am I holding space for in my reality too? Right? Because if I'm holding space for judgment and I'm holding space for criticism and I'm holding space for all of that, it's going to show up in our experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're calling it with a big, loud microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Not
that's
like
the
mine,
vibration. Yours, which is a bit... but that's the vibration, right? Because when we create we sit in a vibration of fear or we sit in a vibration of judgment, then like attracts like. So we want to encourage ourselves to be in a better space so that we attract those that are in a better space for us.
Mm-hmm.
Tom says, 60 years of emotion. I want to help give shortcuts if I can. The work is long, hard, and tear-filled. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's messy. This thing is this learning journey. It's messy,
But it's fun.
but beautiful.
Yes.
Messy and beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trust issues, fears of failing. Yeah, for sure.
We can't sit on a deserted island where we have fruits coming down from a tree and be happy. It's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
There's
It's the same thing day in, day out. The sun is hot. There's water. Oh, no. You need excitement in your life. You do need that. You need excitement in your life.
Yes. Yes, we do, right? We wouldn't appreciate the really good times if we didn't have the bad times or the lower vibrational experiences, right? If we get away from good and bad. If we didn't have the low vibration, we wouldn't recognize that this is high vibration and that this feels good.
Yeah, you can't have good wine without squeezing the grapes. You have to squeeze the hell out of it.
Yeah, stomp on it, man.
Stomp on it. Get rid of that.
And the thing is, too, right? Like this idea of the work is long, it's hard, and it's tear-filled. That's not a negative thing,
No.
right? It's negative because we think, oh, I don't want to be sad.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to have to do the work. Oh, I just, I want it to be this or I want it to be that. And it's the judgments and the labels and the way that we allow our mind to take over that cause it to be suffering, right? Otherwise, it's just experience. It's
That's
a
true.
whole world of crazy ride of experience.
Indeed. And Tom says, wow, he said that directly to you, to me. He's good like that. He does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the value we put on it, but we're so programmed to use the values that we've been instilled with that's where the invitation to create new values and create new parameters for or new labels for how you see things comes in.
Yeah, and also it's generational. Like my generation, which is we grew up. Well, our parents, or at least my parents, taught us is that you always put your head down. Be grateful for wherever you go. You get. You don't go out and try to get more. There's always this. It's not a humbleness. It's just like being crushed and sitting on the side. It was part of the society, at least at that time. And now it's like being open and outspoken and trying to get more for yourself. And getting more is not a material thing, but getting more to evolve yourself and become a better person.
Mhm.
Before it's like, this is it. You're in this small little box. You stay in the box and then you die and that's it. It's over. Oh no, you have heaven. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's very important to all of us.
Well, we have a few differing views, I think, on what happens after in this group, but
you get back in line and you ride the wheel again.
you do, unless you're done, unless you've learned everything, which it takes us a long time. We're pretty slow learners. So
Well, and we again, this relationship thing, right? Like, I think we also tend to journey together.
Mhm.
And so, again, this allowing for the flow of it all, right? We have different experiences that we go through, and those experiences help us to become, they help us to unfold, right? They help us to just see things in different ways. And the relationships and the people that we travel with and journey with, we're all meant to be all of the roles. Sometimes we are the good guy, sometimes we are the bad guy, and sometimes we're everything in between.
Yeah.
Right? And that's okay, because we're meant to learn from the experiences that we have. And not that everything in life has to be a teaching thing, but everything in life has the potential to help us grow.
yeah, if we see it that way, we can use it as a tool for sure. And Tom says, all those labels tear us apart and try to shove us in boxes. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the boxes is the programming, right? The labels and the boxes, it's programming. So, live in your personal integrity. What is it? What do you feel about this? Or what do you feel about that? Go inside and let that percolate a little bit.
Yeah.
And watch the words.
Words matter.
Yeah.
The words that you think about regularly and you utter regularly,
That's what defines you and defines the world around you. I had somebody I was helping out at one point in time. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Like, what? No wonder you're an idiot.
No judgment, of course, Ramsey.
It's no judgment in him. It's so beautiful.
Michael, have you heard yourself? And slowly, by pointing this out, she was able to realize what she was doing to herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then she bursted out crying because she had taken that and implanted it on her daughter. And her daughter was repeating what she was repeating.
Mm-hmm.
And from that day onward, she was trying to reverse that with herself so that the kid can reverse it with herself also.
Yeah.
So words are spells.
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I can't believe it, but it's been an hour.
Oh, wow.
So I want to thank you all for joining us today on this beautiful, interesting journey we've had with technology. And thank you so much, Ramsey, for joining us and pinch hitting for us in the middle. And Tom says, I still care, but the older I get, I know which cares to give. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's right. We can still care and have feelings and be compassionate and empathetic to others and to ourselves.
Yeah.
In the process.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jen, would you like to?
The boxes really quick too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I've done this with clients before too, is we look at it and go, okay, whose box are you trying to fit in? Because the reality is there are no boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so people can try to shove us into whatever box they want. And we can just go, nope, no box.
No box. It's magic. No box.
No box.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for joining us, and Lisa and Sham and Ming and everyone. Thank you so much. And use your own magic, your own special variety of magic. Remove your boxes and live large is what's coming through, right? Live expansion.
I love it.
In this. Jen, would you like to tell people where they can reach you, please?
Sure. You can find me at Twillow Lifestyle, Twillow Academy. You can find me at myholisticself.com or myholisticselfcounseling.com or on Facebook at Holistic Self Counseling.
Beautiful.
I never get it.
Yes, you
get it right.
You're good. And Ramsey, can you please tell everyone?
Yeah, you can find me at ramzicheeti.net. I'm there. You can connect with me.
Oh, I should put that up.
For joining us. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Put that up. Well, thanks for jumping in. There's his contact stuff. And you're very welcome, Lisa. Thank you. Many blessings to you as well. That's awesome. And I am super honored to have you guys working with the Twillow Lifestyle Academy and Jen Twillow Lifestyle Community. So we also have an online community. So if you'd like to join the community, please check out twillowlifestyle.ca. There's a free version, and we also have a paid version with lots of content. And all of the teachers, there's 8 of us now with the Twillow Lifestyle Academy. And so there's lots of content going on there on a monthly basis. And we're super happy and excited as we build our community to walk each other home, as Shem said. So please check that out. And don't forget to subscribe and like this for more videos coming from us. There's plenty happening in the Twillow Lifestyle community. We're super pleased that everyone's walking each other home. And I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. Thank you all for sharing your beautiful energy with us today. Have an awesome week, everyone. Sending you lots of love.